Before we get into the video, let's try to get this one to 700 likes. That would be absolutely great. And also, shout out to my members, Diego, Pretzel Day Podcast, Potter's Games, and Mushroom Snow Productions. I really appreciate the membership. If you'd like to join, it's just $5. I will link that in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, what is up, guys? It is Slickmuff here, back again with another video, and I apologize I haven't posted for a while. I did live stream just recently, and it was a big success. I really enjoyed live streaming, so definitely stay tuned for future live streams in the near future. But today I want to talk about something a little bit different on the channel. I'm going to talk about the UNC Duke game. Of course, I'm a student at UNC. We did manage to win the first and second regular season games against Duke, and now we're playing them in the ACC tournament. So I wanted to get my thoughts on this and what I think is going to happen. Of course, the big news that ESPN's covering and everything is that Zion is back for the game, and it's his first time playing against UNC. So Zion's a really good player. There's no taking that away from him, and I think that he's going to make a big impact in the game. So what does UNC need to do to manage to get the three-peat this season and beat Duke 3 times in a year, which rarely happens. Usually Duke and UNC, they trade. Last year we beat them, we won twice and they won once, and other times they win 2 times, we win 1 time, but usually we like split the series against them, and we almost always play them in the ACC tournament. But in any case, what does UNC need to do? Well, I think that UNC is still in a very good position to win the game. I think that UNC is a deeper team. It is a credit, I think, to Roy Williams, who I think is the best coach in college basketball. Of course, I'm very biased. I'm a UNC student, so take that for what it's worth. But I think that he is the best coach in college basketball for a very particular reason, is that even though he doesn't have the recruiting power as other coaches, because they don't really have the Duke name, or even Kentucky, John Calipari is really known to be an NBA coach, even though he's not an NBA coach, but like he's known to get his players into the NBA. Roy Williams isn't known for that as much, and as such, he doesn't really get all the top 5 recruits. And it's important to remember that Duke had the #1 recruiting class in the country before Zion Williamson committed. So it's important to consider that Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, all these guys, you know, they far and away have the best team in the country in terms of raw talent and skill. But Roy Williams really manages to get the best out of all of his players, even players that aren't top 100 recruits in their year, like Kenny Williams is somebody, Luke May, all these people. So he really creates career players, and he really maximizes the potential out of these players. And UNC, as such, is a deeper team because he keeps his players for longer because he doesn't get the top like 1, 2, 3 players that are just going to go to NBA next year. So I think that UNC is a deeper team. If you look at the people that we play, our starting 5 is really just the beginning. We also go to bench players. Nasir Little, Brandon Robinson is somebody that we play a good bit. Really, you know, even Andrew Playtech gets playtime. So we have a lot of different weapons that we can really go to. And Nasir Little was a top recruit for UNC. But anyway, what does UNC need to do? Well, they really need to take charges against Zion. So you have to get Zion into foul trouble. We don't have a big guy that can really counteract Zion. He's a lot bigger and more athletic than our big guy, Garrison Brooks, who is a good player. He's just not quite as big. He's not quite as developed as Zion. So you really have to get him into foul trouble. You have to take charges from him, and you need to box him out really well. And like I said, in boxing him out, you got to get him, you know, reaching over the top fouls and those types of fouls. You have to get him into that kind of foul trouble, I think. So really, if you can get him in foul trouble early and make them bench Zion, that's really quite good. Their three shooters aren't really that good compared to you know, JJ Redick or people they had a decade ago. I mean, if you look at Cam Reddish, I think he shoots like 30-something%, or RJ Barrett, I can't remember their 3-shooter that shoots a lot of threes, but you know, he shoots like in the 30s. Compare that to Cameron Johnson on our team, who shoots in the 40s from 3. Cam Johnson is an NBA player. He's a Pitt transfer, and I think that he will be in the NBA. So anyway, my point being is that UNC is just a deeper team. We have more weapons that we can use, but all of those weapons, it's important to note, are not Zion Williamson or these, you know, top recruits that are going to the NBA next year per se, with the exception of Cameron Johnson, who even then stayed in college for 5 years. So I really think it's going to be a great game. You have to get Zion into foul trouble, and I know that you don't want to take a charge from Zion. I certainly wouldn't want to do it, but you have to get him into foul trouble. You have to box him out and really be aggressive and very physical with him. So in terms of the other players, like I said, you know, they're very highly ranked and whatnot, but you know, from 3, they're not they really haven't been that much of a threat. I mean, watching the Syracuse game last night, they weren't that much of a threat from the three. It really was just Zion taking it to the basket. I think that Zion is a little bit overrated, though, if I'm being perfectly honest. That's just my honest opinion. Maybe my opinion will change if he drops like 70 on us tonight. But looking at him, like even ESPN was bragging about how he had a 100% field goal percentage, but all of his shots were dunks, like from the field. He was just dunking it on people. So of course you're gonna have 100%. You're not gonna miss dunks. So I don't know. He's a very good player, but Syracuse didn't really have anyone that can counteract him either. They have all these really skinny, frail white guys. So of course they're gonna get completely shat on. You really have to resort to your weapons that you have, and I think that UNC has a lot of weapons. Nasir is a very good player. He needs to have a big night too in order to beat Duke. So he really needs to be taking it to the basket. He really needs to be driving it and counteracting Zion. And if he can't really hold up to him, it'll be a tough game. Either way, I think we'll win, even with Zion. My prediction is that we probably will win by 8 or 9 points, but it will be a close game. And I certainly could see Duke winning, especially Zion's going to be fired up because people were saying about how he's going to quit and whatever. And, so I think that he's going to have a big game. But, I think that the difference is that UNC is a much deeper team, and any one player that we have could fall, and we would still be roughly, just as good. So, for instance, like let's say Luke May was hurt, that would be a huge hit to the team. But it wouldn't be like, well, we can't win in the ACC anymore, like what happened with Duke, even though they had the #1 recruiting class before Zion. So once again, I think that really speaks to Coach Williams' potential, or his talent really as a coach, to get the most out of all of his players and to create deep teams that really get productivity out of everybody. Really doesn't keep anyone on the bench. Everyone kind of plays, and I really give Coach Roy Williams credit for that. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I really think that hopefully we're going to come out on top today. I don't know. It will be a tough game. It really depends if we're on our A game or not. But once again, really have to play physical, aggressive with Zion. Really have to get him into foul trouble, take charges. He just drives it to the basket every time. His field goal percentage is pretty good, but once again,